Yo, what's good? What's good? Can you hear me? Are you guys able to are you guys able to hear me? Are you guys able to comment? Damn. Hold on, bro. Oh, wait. Ooh. Hold on. Okay. Hold on. Okay, cool. I see it. Yo, what's good? Can you hear me? All right. So hold on one second. Because at first, I wasn't able to get this get this up and running. Go ahead and take care of this real quick. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and get into what this live is gonna be on right now. All right. So basically, yesterday I put out a video on why I believe, mulattoes, we are our own unique, independent genetic group, and we need to start conducting ourselves like our own unique, independent genetic group. And I basically stated the genetic facts, the biological scientific facts as to why mulattoes are hybrids between the Caucasian and the Black races. And, I basically stated that we mulattoes are not Black, according to simple genetics. I completely debunked the one drop rule, the one drop rule that states if you have one drop of Black blood that you're Black. Well, that's very easy to debunk. There's no white person on the planet who has 1% Black DNA who looks like a mulatto. There's no white person on the planet with 1% Black DNA who looks, anything close to a mulatto or a full Black person. See what I'm saying? And I don't even think that takes critical thinking skills to figure out. That's common sense. You understand? That's common sense. Another thing, I also stated if the Black gene was 100% dominant, mixed people and mulatto people would look 100% Black. If the Black gene was 100% dominant, mulattoes would look 100% Black. That's not an opinion. That's not an emotion. That's a fact. When you go and you look at nature, right? And we look at different fruits, we look at different vegetables, we look at different animals, right? There are many hybrids. There are many hybrids in nature, right? So it's the same exact dynamic when you look at different races of humans. If a white person and a Black person get down and have a baby, that baby is going to be a hybrid. If a Black person and an Arab person make a baby, that's going to be a hybrid. Black person and an Asian person get together and have a baby. That baby's going to be a hybrid. East Indian person and a white person have a baby. That baby is going to be a hybrid. A white person and an Asian person getting together, that's going to create a Eurasian baby. You see what I'm saying? So hybrids exist in nature with fruits, vegetables, and plants. They exist in the animal kingdom and they exist amongst humans. So I need to know why I received so much hate comments and hate mail, under the video that I made on YouTube yesterday. They were calling me a racist. They said that I attacked Black people. I swear to God. Go check the comments of my last video. They said that I'm a racist, just like Nick Fuentes, and they said I'm just like Nick Fuentes and Myron Gaines with my racism. And they said they said that I'm attacking Black people. I swear to God, simply by saying mulatto people are genetic hybrids between white and Black people. We are our own unique, independent, specific genetic group. And we need to come together and, support one another and be proud of our heritage. That's all I said. And somehow, some way, there are black people in the comment section saying that I attacked black people. They said that I attacked black people. They said that that I'm a sellout. They said that I'm promoting hate and division. They insulted my mother. Oh yeah, look at it. Look at all those comments, and see the only and see. Man, it's so fucked up, but it's the truth. This actually makes the bigots seem like what they're saying about black people is the truth. If you read those negative comments in my latest video, like you will see like, why certain demographics say what they say about that particular culture. Because in that video, I did nothing and I said nothing that warranted that kind of response in the comments. But see, they only proved to me that there is a subconscious, psychological, covert, spiritual agenda in the black monoracial community, and it is to keep mulattoes as an ignorant, subservient, subordinate class under blackness. There is a psychological, spiritual, covert operation and conspiracy in the black community to keep mulattoes as an ignorant, subordinate, subservient class to them. And anytime mulattoes say that they're proud of their heritage, they're proud of their skin complexion, they're proud of the heritage that they have on both their black and their white sides, and they're proud of who they are, and they want to identify as mulatto, and they want to support one another. Anytime that happens, all of a sudden we get attacked for that, and I need an explanation. I need an explanation, man. And you're also gonna have to explain to me why in that comment section you guys said, it was so many people who said that they don't want me to talk about race. They were saying, man, why are you talking about race, man? We're past this race thing. We're past this race thing, man. Why are you talking about race? You want to know why I'm talking about race? And you want to know why I know that's complete bullshit? Let me tell you why I know that's complete bullshit. Because for the past 11 fucking years, I built my platform off of talking about race. I built my fucking platform off of talking about the history of black people, the genetic identity of black people, the true origins of black people. I built my whole fucking platform and my whole movement off of talking about race. Now, all of a sudden, I talk about mulatto identity, mulatto history, mulatto unity. And now all of a sudden, they don't want to hear about race anymore. Interesting. Now, all of a sudden, the same people who supported me when I built my whole fucking platform off of talking about black history, black pride, black unity. You understand? And just to let you know, I was one of the originals. I was one of the originals in my generation. And in my generation, I was one of the originals. You had me, you had Sanchez, you had YP, you had Dane Calloway, and a few others. But I was one of the originals in my generation with this shit. And I built my fucking platform off of giving black people information that wasn't given to them for thousands of years. I gave black people information that wasn't given to them for thousands of fucking years. And nobody on the fucking earth did it the way I did it. And at the consistent rate that I did it. You understand? Now, all of a sudden, that I'm talking about mulatto identity and mulatto history and mulatto unity. Now those same people are saying they don't want to hear about race. Wow. 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 Woo! Woo! Ooh, interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting. And all they did in those comments, was prove to me that there is a covert agenda and conspiracy in the black community to keep mulattoes ignorant, subordinate, and subservient. But guess what, folks? Guess what? Those days are over. Those days are over. They and those same people, those same fake fraud hypocrites, those same fake fraud pro-black hypocrites, they said that I was being divisive. But guess what? If you go on Remedy H's channel, Remedy H says that mulattoes are not black. He says mixed people are not black. When he says that, he doesn't get hate comments in his comment section. He gets support. People cheer him on when he says mulattoes are not black. And when you go to Kali Amun-Ra's comments after he says mulattoes are not black, Kali Amun-Ra gets support and applause. Interesting. So Remedy H says mulattoes are not black. Kali Amun-Ra says mulattoes are not black. They get support in the comments. They don't get hate in the comments. Nobody called Kendrick Lamar divisive when he said they not like us, right? But he was talking to a mulatto man whose father was a black musician, a black American musician. You see what I'm saying? And we see what went down with that, right? But nobody is calling those people divisive. But soon as a mulatto man gains some knowledge, right, on genetics and realizes you cannot call a hybrid 100% of one of their parents' genetics. Calling a mulatto a black person would be the same as you mixing a strawberry and a peach and calling that mixture a 100% peach. You calling a mulatto person a black person is the same as you mixing a strawberry and a peach and calling it a 100% strawberry. You calling a mulatto a black person is the same as you mixing a Kodiak bear with a panda bear and saying that it's 100% Kodiak bear. You understand? Yeah, both of their parents were bears. Both of their parents were bears, right? But there's still different genetics and the offspring is still a hybrid. You understand? It's the same thing with mixed people. It's the same thing. So, this whole notion that the one drop rule is factual. No, it's not factual. There's no white person. There's no non-black person who has 1% black DNA who looks like a mulatto. There's no white man with 1% black DNA who looks half black. There's no sign in nature of 1% of a creature's genetics overriding 99% of their genetics. That doesn't exist in nature. And guess what? It doesn't exist amongst humanity either. See what I'm saying? So the one drop rule is asinine. It's been debunked. And like I said, if the black gene was 100% dominant, all mixed people would look 100% black. All mulattoes would look 100% black if the black gene was 100% dominant. That's all. That's the truth. That's not an emotion. You understand? That's not an emotion. That's not a feeling. That's a fact. And see, we got another idiot who said you're anti-black now. So how is me embracing my mulatto identity? How is that being anti-black? Explain. See, that's the shit. That's the stupid shit That's the stupid shit that has to be explained. Inside of your NPC brain, you're gonna have to formulate an explanation for that. You see what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? And I had to contemplate whether or not I even wanted to come back to YouTube, because I know how retarded the general public is. And so I had to literally plead with myself and conversate with myself on if I even wanted to come back to YouTube. Because you know how I found out that I got my channel back? Somebody DM'd me on Instagram and said, yo, your channel is back. And I said, man, get the fuck out of here. I said, what? So I looked on YouTube, and I used a different YouTube channel, or a different YouTube account, and I put in RFG ChosenOne, and my fucking channel showed up. And I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, it's back. And I had to go back and see if I could log into it. It let me log in. And I saw that the latest comment was September 4th. So I came to the conclusion that they brought it back September 4th. And I was like, man, should I come back? Should I leave it alone? Should I go full time again? Or should I just use it to advertise and to promote my businesses? And yeah, you know, I made that video yesterday. And the only way that I'm coming back full time is if I get at least 350 Patreon members, paid Patreon members. You know, that's the only way that I'm coming back full time. Otherwise, if I don't get those 350 to 400 paid Patreon members, I'm just going to use the YouTube as a platform to promote my businesses. That's all. Who killed Charlie? I believe it was definitely the Mossad, the Israeli Mossad. At first, I thought it was no conspiracy. I thought it was a jealous, somebody who was jealous inside of his conservative camp. But when I started doing more research, I said, oh no, they killed Charlie to take attention off the Epstein files. I said they killed Charlie to take attention off of the Epstein files. That's why they killed his ass. And they also want to factor in, like, they want to create a civil war within the states. And I said, damn. And I said, these motherfuckers is falling for it too. I said, God damn. And let me tell you something that's pretty creepy about Charlie's death. Charlie died. I want to say 13 days before his birth. No. He died 31 days before his birthday. He died 31 days before his birthday at the age of 31. His birthday was the same day George Floyd's birthday was. And when the Utah police were conducting their investigation, they kept saying it took 33 hours to catch the shooter. It took 33 hours to catch the shooter. It took 33 hours to catch the shooter. And I'm like, why the fuck did they say that repeatedly to the whole world? Why did they have to mention 33 hours? So I'm like, yeah, that was a hit. I was like, yeah, that's a fucking hit. They sacrificed his ass to keep attention off of the Epstein files. And then I'm like, man, that 33 is crazy. And they took Charlie out on September 10th. That was 6 days after they brought my YouTube back. They brought my YouTube back 6 days before Charlie got assassinated. And then they talked about that 33 ritual with finding the shooter 33 hours after they killed him, right? And then, folks, I myself turned 33 on July 29th this year. I turned 33 this year on July 29th. So I'm like, and then they brought my channel back 6 days before they assassinated Charlie. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, that's some weird ass shit, man. That's some weird stuff. But, you know, all we need to be focused on, man, is obtaining resources, man. And getting together with like-minded people, formulating our own soul tribes, man, and becoming sovereign. You know what I'm saying? Acquiring land, living off of the land. All right. And start practicing all of the necessities, right, that you're gonna have to be able to practice to live on your own, because we're gonna have to be able to live by ourselves, self-sufficiently. All right, self-sufficiently, because the government it's not gonna stand up too much longer, folks. Something is going to happen in the United States between now and the midterms. All right. The government knows that the Republicans are going to be voted out of the Congress in the midterms. They know that their time is short. They know they're going to be voted out in the midterms. So something is going to happen in the United States before those damn midterms to cause as much chaos as possible. And guess what? Between now and 2028, mark my fucking words, we are going to see an EMP strike, a nuclear scare in the United States, which means the government lying and saying the United States was hit with a nuclear weapon. The government will lie and say that the United States was hit with a nuclear weapon, but the whole time, you see, they're gonna use what's called a neutron bomb. They're gonna use what's called a neutron bomb. A neutron bomb. It kills people, but it keeps the buildings intact. It's called a neutron bomb. They can use that. They can use chemical weapons and just lie and say it was a nuclear bomb. All right. If they lie and say it was a nuclear bomb that was dropped, the U.S. Military will have the right to go door to door and to round people up and to put them in internment camps. Folks, I'm going to repeat that. All the U.S. government has to do is lie and say that a nuclear weapon hit the United States. And at that moment, they will have the right to issue the fucking military to go door to door and to round people up and to put them in internment camps. All right. All right. And we know that there's no nuclear weapons anymore. All right. Because the extraterrestrials forced the human government to destroy all of the nuclear weapons because they don't want to destroy this prison house. This world is just a fucking prison house and a gene splicing experiment, and they have to keep it intact. So they destroyed the nuclear weapons. There's going to be a nuclear scare, though, right? Which will have basically the same effect as a nuclear weapon. If you tell the masses of people that a nuclear weapon dropped, that's it. That's it. That's the end of free society as we know it. And people will be put in internment camps. You see what I'm saying? And, all their human rights could be taken away. That's something very interesting to think about. But it's a possibility and it could happen. And another thing that I think is going to happen between now and 2028, I guarantee we're going to get an attack on the White House, folks. There's going to be an attack on the fucking White House, just like that movie, White House Down or Olympus Has Fallen. It's going to take place anytime between now and 2028. Mark my motherfucking words. They're going to blame it on either Russia, North Korea, or Iran. It will be blamed on North Korea, Russia, or Iran. All right? You'll see. You'll see. Everybody who is a truther will be labeled a terrorist. Everybody who is a truther will be labeled a terrorist. It's the truth, man. It's the truth. It's the truth. Everybody will be labeled a terrorist, man. Or, simply an extremist. Right now, the U.S. government are forcing right now. The U.S. government is forcing the corporations to make sure that their employees pay homage to Charlie Kirk's death. Right now, in the United States, the government is forcing the people to pay homage to Charlie Kirk's death. Now, wait a second. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. What if that person didn't like Charlie Kirk? What if that person had a negative experience with Charlie Kirk when Charlie was alive? What if that person had a negative experience with Charlie when that person was still alive? Why should that person be forced to pay homage to Charlie's death? We should have the freedom of expression and the freedom of speech to feel how we want to feel if somebody passes away. You see what I'm saying? If your government is forcing people to pay homage to someone's death, that is authoritarian. That's authoritarian. That's fascist. And that's dictator behavior. That's dictator behavior is fascist and it's authoritarian. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? So right now, the U.S. government is fascist, authoritarian, and it's a dictatorship, man. You can't even say how you feel about people anymore, you know. And if they say that you have to pay homage to a certain person's death, that's what you have to do, or they'll try to cancel you, or they'll try to fire you. So what's going on in America is you have a low vibrational demonic hive mind. You have a low vibrational demonic authoritarian hive mind. And if you're not part of that hive mind, right, they're going to ostracize you and they're going to try to punish you. You see? You see? And this is why, you know, people have to start boycotting these multi-billion-dollar corporations. You know, it was a good job. You know, you guys did a good job against Target and Walmart, but I think certain corporations, you know, other corporations need to be boycotted. Like the NFL, you know, the bitch ass NFL is forcing people to pay homage to Charlie Kirk. Fuck the NFL. Fuck the fucking NFL. There shouldn't be one black or one mulatto player playing on fucking Sunday. You know what I'm saying? Because the NFL is supporting fascism, they're supporting authoritarianism, and they're supporting the behaviors of a dictator. Nobody should be supporting the fucking NFL. Nobody. You guys are having your rights taken away from you. And all you can talk about is sports and your favorite Instagram model. You know what I'm saying? Society is about to collapse. You guys better wake up, man. You guys better wake up, because I'm telling you, you're going to wake up one day. You're going to wake up one day and you're going to see on your TV screen and on your phone screen, the United States was just nuked or the White House was just attacked. And from that point on, you're not going to have any more real human freedoms anymore. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And the agenda is to get everybody on the global currency on that computer chip implanted in your body, and that's going to be the only way you can get employment from a physical job. That's going to be the only way you can get employment from a physical job. Now, if you have online businesses, it might be a little different. I'm not sure if you would still be forced to have the microchip if you have online businesses. The only way out of that is to convert your cash to gold or silver. You know, start converting your cash to gold, silver, and start purchasing land. Start growing food on that land, and create different forms of online income, and just convert that income to gold and silver. You know, that's really going to be the only way out of the bio microchip and the global currency, the global digital currency. Yeah, AI. Oh, yeah. Yes. Basically, I think they're going to want to put the smartphone. They're going to want to attach a smaller form of a smartphone and attach it to our heads. So if we think something, if we have a thought, the thought will pop out like a hologram, just like that movie the Batman, one of the Batman movies in the 1990s with the Riddler, when Jim Carrey played the Riddler, and he had a device on his head, and when he thought a thought, it projected out like a hologram. They really have that, and I think that's what they want to turn the smartphone into. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They're gonna see the price for gold and silver is spiking because they know the people are waking up. They know the people are waking up. Yeah, for some reason they instated my channel. They reinstated my channel. And I think they were forced to do it because I never threatened anybody on my YouTube channel. I never promoted violence on my YouTube channel. I never showed anybody dying or anybody being violated on my YouTube channel. I never promoted rape or anything sexually explicit on my YouTube channel. I never, threatened anybody or said any racial slurs on my YouTube channel. So that, I never committed copyright infringement on my YouTube channel. So therefore, I think they were forced to reinstate my YouTube channel because maybe the executives got together and said, you know what, this guy, we terminated his channel, but he never threatened anybody. There was never anything overly vulgar on his channel, never said any racial slurs. Never promoted death, never anything sexually explicit, never any copyright infringement, never showed any kind of invasion of privacy on my channel. So they were like, this guy didn't really do anything wrong. The only thing he did wrong, was speaking out against the vaccine. You know what I'm saying? And that's the reason why we terminated the channel. So I guess they just decided to bring it back on that note because I never sent in a appeal. I never even had the option to send an appeal after they terminated my account June of 2021. When they terminated the account June of 2021, they did not give me an option to appeal. So I thought it was done for good. But your guess is just as good as mine as far as, their reason to reinstate it. Yeah. Yep. And I heard they reinstated a lot of people's YouTube channels in the past year. I did hear about that. People were telling me that they were reinstating a lot of deleted channels in the past year. But, I didn't know how true that was until somebody told me that my channel was back up, a few days ago. Yeah, that's interesting. That's very interesting. Social media is weird. Social media is weird. Just like YouTube, they change their rules. They change their rules as the wind blows. They change their rules as their moods go by, But like I said earlier, I don't think I'm coming back to YouTube full time unless they allow me to monetize my material or I gain some more Patreon supporters. If I can get some more Patreon supporters, I'll have no problem with going back to YouTube full time. Right now, I think I'm at about 250 250 paid subscribers on Patreon. If I could get that to about 350, I'll go back to YouTube full time. So yeah, very interesting times. I haven't been in the United States since September 15th of last year. So it's been over a year since I've even been in the States, and I don't plan on coming back anytime soon. Because of what I'm seeing in the news regarding the states. I'm not. See, you got to understand when I'm making a observation and a discovery, and and when I'm stating genetic facts that when a person is mixed, the mixed person cannot disqualify their non-black side. The mixed person cannot deny their non-black side. You understand? Their non-black genetics play just as much as a role as their black genetics to get them into this world. You know what I'm saying? That's not an emotion. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. You see what I'm saying? So, you wouldn't, if I mix a lion and a tiger, right? I'm going to create a hybrid called a liger or a tigon. That liger cannot be called a tiger. That liger cannot be called a lion. That liger is its own specific, unique genetic group. It's the same thing for mulattoes. If you mix a white person with 50% white genetics, 50% black genetics, you're not going to get 100% black person. That's a fact. That's a fact. That's not an opinion. That's not an emotion. That's a fact. So, I need to know why I was called a racist, why I was compared to Nick Fuentes and Myron Gaines for saying something like that. And, why I was being personally attacked in my last video for saying that obvious truth. You know what I'm saying? Because, yeah, man, if you look at those comments, man, dude, if you look at those comments in the last video, man, that shit is wild. That shit is wild. And it's pretty sad. But, me embracing mulatto identity and me saying that I'm proud to be a mulatto and me disproving the one drop rule, you see what I'm saying? That's not hatred. That's just science. That's just genetics. See what I'm saying? That's just reality. You see what I'm saying? That's not anti-black. When did I ever say that I wanted conflict between mulattoes and black people? I never said that. You know what I'm saying? You identifying with your genetic group and you wanting to connect with your genetic group, that's not anti-black. Because when black people embrace their genetics and want to be with each other and only each other, nobody says that, you know what I'm saying? Well, at least mulattoes don't say that that's bad. A mulatto person is not going to tell two black people to not embrace each other. A mulatto person is not going to call a black person racist if the black person prefers their own kind. You see what I'm saying? So I don't think a mulatto person should be called racist if they want to identify with their genetic group and connect with their genetic group. Yeah, man. And sadly, when you speak genetic truth and you speak common sense and critical thinking, and a full in-depth, non-biased analysis of certain things, truth is not truth anymore. Especially in the United States, truth is not truth anymore. Truth has, become subjective and changeable and moldable, depending on people's emotions, people's egos, people's pride. And that's why the United States, they have the most immature people on the planet in the United States. And that's most people who embrace American culture, because American culture has created a society of narcissism,
sociopathy, egomaniacs, who, they're like people who completely like go after anyone who shatters any kind of paradigm that they believe in, any type of paradigm that they believe in. If anybody questions it, anybody goes against it, automatically that person who's questioning that paradigm is the enemy now. That, and the words for a person like that, they're going to call you a hater, a clout chaser, or a racist. You know what I'm saying? For now, the people who speak the truth are haters, clout chasers, and racist bigots. That's what they'll call you. But that, like I said, that's all because this is a simulation. This is a simulation. The people who are vibrating on the NPC vibration, the people who are vibrating on the NPC vibration, they can't even handle the awakening. Those are the souls that are going to have to come back here and do this over again in a different body in the future. You see what I'm saying? Right at this point right now, if you are not rejoicing and embracing new truths, if you're not rejoicing and embracing every time you hear a new truth and a new fact, something that you never heard before, if you're not embracing that, that means that you're not evolving. That means that you're not evolving mentally and spiritually. If you're still thinking the same way you were thinking 10 years ago, if you're still doing the same thing that you were doing 10 years ago, you're not evolving. You're not evolving mentally and spiritually. And guess what? That's a fact. Because you were literally put here. You literally incarnated here to evolve, to go through an evolution process, mentally and spiritually and DNA wise. And if your ass is still thinking and doing the same things you were thinking and doing 10, 11 years ago, man, I'm telling you, you're going to do this shit over again. When your soul leaves your body, you're going to fuck around and do this shit all over again. Straight up, man, straight up. But yeah, it's really unfortunate that we're living in a time now where people, they think that if you embrace your genetic identity, if you embrace your genetic heritage, you get labeled a racist. We're living in some very crazy times, because all I tried to do was bring genetic truth, some genetic truths. The fact that you can never call a hybrid 100% of its parents, one of its parents' genetics. You understand? You could never call a hybrid 100% of anything. You see what I'm saying? So it's the same thing with mulattoes. Mulattoes are genetically not black. You need two black parents to produce a black child. And Remedy H teaches that same truth. Kali Amora teaches that same truth. So they don't get hate mail and hate messages when they share that truth. But for some reason, when I as a mulatto man say the same thing, that mulattoes are not black, then for some reason I get all the hate. You know what I'm saying? That's very weird. That's very, very weird, man. That's very weird. And it makes it look like there's a deep rooted conspiracy within the black community to keep mulattoes ignorant, subservient, and subordinate to blackness. That's what it looks like. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I put a light on. That's what I shed a light on in the last video. And, the black community didn't like that at all. But, in order to grow, we got to evolve. We have to accept truths. We have to accept truths for what they are, regardless of our egos, regardless of our emotions, regardless of our feelings. We have to accept facts for what they are. And we have to move accordingly. So yeah, me calling myself a mulatto, me embracing and identifying with my genetic makeup, me wanting to become sovereign with people, who are of my genetic makeup. I just don't see how that could possibly be called racist, or, how I'm trying to spark up a so-called war by advocating for that. After I literally told Black people their true identity and their true history for the past 11 years, on YouTube and Instagram. And, it's just very, very strange dynamic. And, yeah. I just, I want you guys to look at the comments of the last video I did on YouTube. And, yeah, man, you'll see a lot of crazy shit, You're going to see slander. You're going to see hate speech, slander, and just, people calling me a racist, and, oh man, I don't want to hear about race. What the fuck are you talking about? I've been talking about race for the past 11 fucking years. I built this whole platform off of talking about race, as it pertains to the history of Black people. Now, all of a sudden, when I start talking about the identity and the history of mulattoes and the genetic identity of mulattoes, and, me wanting mulattoes to come together and to help each other, all of a sudden you guys don't want to hear about race anymore. No, that's malarkey. I'm calling a spade a spade. That's garbage. So, I'm going to stay on track, doing what I'm doing. I'm already out here, overseas. I gotta get this video gaming channel up and running. I'm gonna see if I could get this on Xbox Live. I'm gonna start streaming myself playing these video games. I'm also gonna get new shipments of these clothing lines. And then I'm gonna be vlogging and showing videos of how to plant certain fruits and vegetables. And I'm gonna be showing myself traveling from time to time. So, that's mainly what I'm gonna be using the YouTube channel for. I'm not coming back full time, right? I'm not gonna be teaching metaphysics and, history and genetics and alchemy and breaking down certain rituals. I'm not going to be doing that full time unless I get enough support on Patreon. And the reason for that is I don't think YouTube is going to allow me to monetize my videos. So I'm gonna try to see if I can monetize the YouTube videos, but I think it's going to be unlikely. So I'll keep you guys updated. I'm going to keep you guys updated on that status, if they allow me to monetize the channel or not. Because if not, I'm gonna have to focus more on Patreon, and making sure that's okay. So yeah, if I get in between 350 and 400 paid members on Patreon, I will come back to YouTube full time. So it's really up to you guys. You know what I'm saying? If you guys want me to make a full comeback to YouTube, that's solely up to you guys. So, yeah, that's really all I had to say. Really all I had to say on this topic. Yeah. That's really all I had to say on this topic. I'll see what happens in the next week or so. See what happens with the Patreon. If I get to that number, I'll let you guys know, and I'll come back to YouTube full time. Also, I'll let you guys know if YouTube allowed me to monetize the videos or not. So, yeah, man, I gotta get this vlogging channel up. I gotta get this video gaming channel up. Gotta get this new shipment of clothing. I'm also working on a few more things. Yeah. I'm ready to keep this going strong. with this information, this movement of information. So, yep. You know what I'm saying? Like this video, subscribe to the channel. I don't know if you're able to record this, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and upload this as well. So yeah, that's really all I had to say on this topic. If you need any kind of advice or you need help with your NFL parlays, college football parlays, MLB parlays, I can help you with that. You just got to contact me on Instagram in the DMs, and I'll tell you the details. So, yeah, that's all I had to say on this topic. I hope I was able to answer everyone's questions regarding this topic. Yep. And also give me suggestions of movies, TV shows, video games, or current events you want to see me discuss on Patreon, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. So with that being said, that's about it. That's all I got for today. Stay safe out there. Stay vigilant. Stay safe, right? Keep your head on a swivel because it is getting crazy out there. Stay protected, all right? I will be back, all right? Peace, love, and evolution. I'm out.